Right, I'm gonna try to, not breathe in the mic so much. Very hard to do. Trust me on that one. So, where was I? Final Fantasy IX, right. The Chocobo Hot and Cold quest, I think was pretty fun, actually. I don't know, it was just fun. That's all I'm going to say on that. What else was there? There was... I don't think there was that many different ongoing side quests, really. So, instead of talking more about Final Fantasy IX, let's talk about the next game, which is, I believe, Final Fantasy VI. Which I also consider one of the better games of the series, and what the hell is it? There it is. Now I just have to find it. Where is the Amaterasu? Now, why am I... Oh, well, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. I need... There's Rokaken. There's this, yes. Now, when I first got Final Fantasy Anthology for Christmas, I believe. This was after 7 and 8 and all these PlayStation games. When I first looked at Final Fantasy V, I was like, oh my god, the graphics, I don't know if I can play this. Yeah, I was getting really used to the, PlayStation era graphics. Which is kind of bad, because a good game does not rely on graphics alone. I don't care what anyone says, graphics does not make a good game. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that would agree on that and disagree. I'm not gonna go into it. So, so there's that. When I first played Final Fantasy VI, I honestly don't know how I was when I first played it. I really don't. The game, I think I remember it being slightly difficult for me for some reason. Maybe it was because I wasn't used to, Sapins, or Spin, or what? I don't even know how you pronounce his name. Sapin, I'll call him. I don't think I was used to his... I have to think about something there. His, Blitz command. Because that was very awkward to use. And the game did not really do a good job of explaining how to use blitzes, like, at all. So that was a thing. Friggin' Vargas. I hate Vargas. Now, I really like the characters. They're really diverse. There's a lot of characters, obviously. I think it's the most in any Final Fantasy game still. The gameplay is very fun. I have no qualms about it. I'll get that later, though. There's always something to talk about there. And I just think the game was balanced when I first played it. Now, of course, since this is years later and several playthroughs later, when I look at the game, I realize the game is not as balanced as you would think. And I don't know what I'm doing. This is obvious. Obviously, I don't want you. Sato, they're both Sato. But when you look at Final Fantasy VI, like, it's not a very hard game at all. Come on, be honest. You have Sapling, who's already broken by time. But the moment you get him, he's already broken. Same with Edgar. Edgar is ridiculously good. Hera's ridiculously good. But Hera's kinda, I don't know. I like Hera the most, I think. I don't know why. Not to say that I don't like anyone else. I really like, Cyan. Cyan, Edgar, Hera, Sabin, I think are all really good characters. Is there anyone that I don't like? I don't particularly care for, Gogo or Gao or Umaru or Mog even. I don't even really care much about Mog. And I actually don't care that much for Celeste now that I think of it. Come on. It's just an opinion. Don't kill me, please. I would rather, live. And I'm not gonna go into the whole Kefka is the best Final Fantasy villain ever argument because, well, we all heard that enough. Now, what else is there? The story is really good, I think. I don't have anything else to say about the story, though. I mean, you got this little rebellion going against this big empire. Kind of like a Final Fantasy. Well, I hate that game. But we'll get that later. And then it comes up to, or it becomes you against this crazy psychopathic clown guy who blows up the world because he's crazy. That's what all crazy people try to do, blow up the world. It's a very common thing. I wonder why. And then you have to get everyone back and fight this guy, crazy clown person guy, who's somehow managed to become a god. Yes. I'm not very good at commenting, I know, so. But in comparison to 7, 8, and 9, I think it's about as... Give me a second. Hopefully nobody heard that. It's harder than 7 and 8, but easier than 9. Like, I don't think anything's as easy as 7 or 8. Because those games are just silly. Silly. Where am I? I'm right here. I'm at this thing. And really, the characters are so diverse that And I don't mean just in personality and characteristics, but even in battle compared to 7 and 8 where everyone can be used the same way. They're pretty diverse. Of course, some people will see more play than others. I mean, I don't know who's going to use Setzer. Even though Setzer can be the most broken character in the game. Just like how Cait Sith can be. Freaking Cait Sith. And what makes the game even more unbalanced, in my opinion, is, aside from the characters, some of the equipment you get is just ridiculously strong. Like, if you get the... what was it called? I can't remember the name of the equipment. But I know later on, when you get something like Economizer, or... is it still called Economizer? No, it's called Celestiag now. And you're a Moss Immune. But some of the stuff you get is just ridiculous. And again, Six suffers from the case of stuff being in the game, but you would never know they were there. Like the Lightbringer, for instance. I have never once ever got a Lightbringer because the Colosseum is... I hate the Colosseum, it's the worst thing ever. It's so rigged against you. I wouldn't have a problem with it if you could control your characters like in Final Fantasy VII's Battle Arena, but you can't. And sometimes they like to use spells that you don't want them to use, like, hey, I'm gonna use Warp. Or, is it Warp? Yes, Warp. And you're like, why? You ran away from the fight and made me lose my bat. And it does not help that sometimes you fight Typhoon. That guy, he's Seer, plain simply put. Why did I go back to Amarasu? But... and it doesn't help that the enemies are not really that threatening. They really aren't. Some of them can be, I will admit. But a lot of them are just small fry that you can just kill within seconds of a fight starting. It's like, oh, you're a soldier with a dog. I'm just gonna flame dance you or auto crossbow. But again, some enemies are more jerkish than others, like the Hades Gygus. I hate that guy. That guy's really mean. And I'm at this part. Yes, once I get this done, I'll be done with Yomu. Yay. But we're not here to talk about Touhou Fantasy. So... oh wow, I have to reverse it. What was I going to say? Anything else about 6? I like how the magic learning system is to a degree. Sometimes it can get really broken. Especially if you go and fight something like, Integer or Cactars. And it's like, yay, times 10. Or even if the, was it the Fanatic Tower? I think it's the Fanatic Tower, or is it the Cultist? I don't know what it's called anymore. It's the Kefka Tower magic place that nobody likes. It gets, and if you play the Super Nintendo or PlayStation version, I started with the PlayStation. I played the Game Boy Advance too. But some of the bugs in that game is just like, what the crap, man? You did not really check for some of the stuff, like Manus plus X Zone, the most infamous combo in that game. Lets you one-hit kill like anything that you can Manus, except the final boss. Marisu, this is not Okami. I don't know why I brought up Okami, I never even played it. What else? There's really not a whole lot else to talk about with Final Fantasy VI, so I'm gonna move on to Final Fantasy V. Now this game took me a while to actually beat. That game, when I first played it, was pretty tough. I was not expecting the difficulty it threw at me. But again, years later, once you know what you're doing, it's not that bad. Still, some bosses will be bosses and will try to ruffle your face because they're big fat jerks. I'm looking at you, Omega. I don't like fighting you normally. I don't even know if you can fight him normally without some overpowered strategy. I know I did with Sid Ryu. Well, did I? I did it without the Dragonlance, but I did Berserk him, and that was very, very painful. It hurt a lot. So, the cast of characters in 5, they're not bad, don't get me wrong, but I was kind of impartial in most characters, except Golem. Golem is a badass, plain and simply put. And I like, Lena. Lena's okay. Don't really care that much for Krill, though. And Boris. And Bartz, to some degree. Or Butts. I don't know what they thought when they named them Butts. Hey, what's your name? My name is Butts. Oh, okay. That's a very weird name there, guy. And Exka, he was even though he's probably one of my more favorite villains. Yes, more favorite. He's just he's more proactive than a lot of villains. Well, maybe not as proactive as like Kuza or Kefka, but he was a lot more proactive than Amicia and Sephiroth. And it's better just go this way. Go figure. But he didn't really feel very blessed out, I guess. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I don't know, maybe someone knows what I'm talking about if anyone's still watching this. This is gonna be a very, very long video. But he's just blah. Maybe it's just his personality, I don't know. He just wants to return everything to nothingness, so I admire his intentions, but he kind of didn't do very good with it. I would do better, because I know how to use Void. The gameplay, fights are relatively challenging if you don't know what the hell you're doing. I guess that's true for any game, though, so... Later on in the game, it starts to get really evil. Especially when you get to places like Escap's castle. Some of the fights there are just really nasty and unfair. Like, oh, I don't know, Red Dragon and the Blue Dragon, or dragons. They're such mean guys. But as I said before, I think the game is more balanced than most of the other games. There's really not, well, there's some things you can abuse, obviously, but for the most part, it's just really, I'm terrible at talking. This is obvious by now. Let's see. At the start of the game, you get... How many job classes? 5. You get Black Mage, White Mage, Blue Mage, Thief, and Knight, I believe. Or was it Monk? I don't remember. But... for like a third of the game, which is like the higher third of the world, you can get by just by having a party of monks. I'm not even kidding. You can just go through and hack everything. And once you get Karnak, I believe it is, I should keep going instead of not doing stuff. But once you get Karnak, and you can buy the elemental rods, the flame rod, thunder rod, and ice rod, you pretty much break the game right there. Because if you buy 99 of each of them, it takes a while, but it's easy to do with the enemies in the forest. If you buy 99 of them and use just those, you'll never die, ever. Because they give you, if you use them with battle, it'll cast the level 3 elemental spell. So if you use a flame rod, it will cast Braga. And I think it does it on all enemies. So you can kinda guess how that is broken. And I need to go find Sagoen. Yes. I need to set up other things. Exactly. Rokokin, Chaser, I think you're Sago. If you are, that is fine. You are good. Go away, go away. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. And then you get some jobs that you're never going to use ever. Like chemist. Who uses chemist? I mean, there are some really good mix abilities, but who uses chemist? It's horrible. And these can go away. And time makes you really never need. I mean, haste is really nice, but it's not needed. And most of the other spells in the high magic place, you never really need. Although Comet can be nice, yes. Now, you get other classes like Monk, which is ridiculously good for a third of the game. Blue Mage, when you get the right skills, is stupidly good. Get White Wind, get Deathclaw, get even level 5 Death and level 4. What's it, level 4 Flare? No, I think it's level 3 Flare. Yeah, level 3 Flare. I'm thinking of level 4 Quarter. And things like Aeroga or what was it called? There was a really good. Oh, Mighty Guard. There's a good one. Of course, you get some of these later in the game, but really, some of the blue magic is really strong, and it can bypass things on bosses. Like, there's a boss you can hit with Deathclaw, which pretty much nullifies any challenge the boss ever had. And there's another boss you can, I'm on Pell Chaser, level 5 Death. Yes, you can level 5 Death a boss. That's just silly. Even more sillier is, say you're fighting X Death for the first time. You use level 2 Uldor. I don't even remember if there's a way half level. There probably is. But say you get him to a level multiple of 5. You can just level 5 Death him then and it'll work. Which is really silly. But that's how it goes, I guess. You just get some really good classes that overshadows every other class of the game. I know that Berserker is often overlooked, and Berserker is really good. You get a Death Sickle early on in the game, give it to a Berserker, let him go. Just let him go. Just don't let him be the last one alive. Just make him be back. And whatever you do, don't go with a full party of Berserkers, because that glitches the game. I have a video of it on my channel somewhere. You can find it at the Glitch Grimoire probably. But yeah, there's quite a few bugs in this game too. For instance, you could completely skip the final boss by using a mix. They fixed it in the advanced version, but you can still do it in another way, so I don't know, sometimes I think they'll think some of these things through, or they just overlook it, I don't know. I overlook stuff all the time when I work on this, so I kinda know what happens, or how it is. Anything else about Final Fantasy V that I can think of? Day of Selena, that is all. I wonder how many people are gonna understand why I said that. So let's move on to Final Fantasy IV. This game, I thought was hard when I first played. Now, I could breeze through the game within 12 game hours. Speaking of that, Final Fantasy VII I could go through within 24 hours. Really sad, but that's how it is. Now, most of the problem I have with that game is I honestly don't know. I really don't. Because the game's, like, supremely easy, except for a few fights. And excluding the DS version, oh god, DS version. I don't care what anyone says, that's a horrible remake. They made that way too difficult. And in a way, because I played through and beat that game, this game, Ho-Ho Fantasy, the difficulty is kind of based on Final Fantasy IV DS. Except I'm not making it nearly as, ridiculous. What do I have? Oh, you. Okie dokie. This is actually gonna not take very long. Now, the characters, it was an SNES game. There was not too terribly much in the way of character development skill. You have more than the first 3 games. That's for sure, but I guess the characters are okay. I mean, I do like Rydia. I do like Kain. Kain's badass. You don't mess with Kain. I do like what was Yank. Yes, Yank. Yank is cool. Eggs is cool. Cecil is okay. I don't really care much about Rosa, or Palom, or Porn, and who cares about Edward? Poor guy. Or Fusoya. Forget Fusoya. But really, the game is really, really easy. This is another game where you could pretty much win by using just a hack, for the most part. Well, until you get someone like Rydia, where you just spam crap out of Mist Dragon and Chocobo, and later on Bio and Quake, and oh my god, she just kills everything. And Rosa just being useless, because if you're not using Curaga or stuff, she doesn't do that much damage. Oh well. And Eggs, why are you such a glass tank? You stereotypical ninja bastard. But, speaking of that, if you played the DS version, you would know why I say that is a horrible, horrible remake. When, at the start of the game, you can get petrified, and enemies can nearly kill you supremely easily, that's a bad sign. It's made even worse when you're going to... what was it called? Kaipo, the desert town place thing. And you're only got Cecil, and you fight the centipede. It's like, oh hey, I remember you in the original. I can easily kill you. And then it hits you with Earthquake, and you take 1,000 damage, and your face goes, my face? What the hell just happened? It makes you go, what were they thinking? I know they wanted to make the game harder. It needed a difficulty up, but they made it a bit too difficult. I mean, holy crap. The power of Sot, whatever. That place is the worst place in the game. Because of the ice... was it the ice beast or the flame beast? Whatever dog enemies they use blaze. Everyone dies, like, really, really quickly. And they use it a lot. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just retarded and stupid, and it makes me very, very angry. And when you have to go get a specific accessory and combine it with armor so you don't die in one attack from every enemy in the final dungeon, and when you have to be level 80 and even stand a chance, even against the final boss, level 80 isn't even good enough to keep alive against the final boss in DS version, which is retarded. There's no reason you should be level 80. Like, none whatsoever. Even in the original, being level 60 is all you needed. Because, you know, Big Bang kind of hurts a lot. By a lot, I mean it hurts like 2,000 damage worth. And, you know, Rydia and Rosa don't get much HP, which is very bad. Okay. Now, aside from that, the equipment, none of the equipment really break the game, which is surprising, considering some equipment are better in terms of attack, yes, but I gotta take care of that. Oops. There's nothing that makes anything groundbreaking. I think, anyways. I might be overlooking something. I tend to do things like that. And the game, I think one of the problems I had was you had the limited inventory in the PlayStation version, which is the one I started with. Compared to Game Boy. Actually, Game Boy Advance has it too. Except you can't have, like, 50 Phoenix Gowns and 50 more Phoenix Gowns. I always just stocked up on Phoenix Gowns, because it's like, hey, you're gonna let me do it, I'm gonna do it. No reason not to, right? Oh goodness, this is gonna take a while. So yeah, there's that. And the optional bosses in 4, in the original, not the DS or Advance, they were kind of rough, but they were doable. You didn't have to do them, no, but crap, I did not mean to do that. But really, I really want to be done with this. Okay, the only one I can think of that is really nasty is Dark Bahamut. Oh god, I hate him. I really hate Dark Bahamut. Because of the constant flares, the Mega Flare, and oh god, he's horrible with the DS version. It's a Monjay. And again, most of the abilities in that game you're never going to use, like Rosa's Prey Command. You're never going to use it, come on. Or, what was it? I believe it's Twin Cast. It's not bad, but you don't really need it that much. You can do just fine without it. And I would really like to have you back. Yes. I want you to be not a Stormbreaker, but a Blue Phantom. Yes, no, don't. Ah. Okay. What else there to talk about? You're an Amarasu. You're a Tsukiyomi. I don't need to do that yet. And another thing I want to bring up about the Final Fantasy series so far that I forgot to bring up is one of the things I like about the series is it's not completely linear. For the most part, it is up to a point. Usually when you get the airship or a boat, one or the other. But really it's not too terrible with the linearity. Linear being straightforward. Yes, I am terrible at speaking. And I think I'm gonna stop the video here again, make sure things are working. And when we get back, I will go on with the next part. This is going to be a very, very long video.